Hello everyone, and welcome to Commander Starship Plays Dark Souls 3 Explore the Lore. We will start today with a new character. Uh-oh, hang on. I'm sure this is going to come through on my mic.
Yes, indeed.
Alright, I'm going to be quiet now.
It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, Saint of the Deep. Farron's Undead Legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the Giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Alright. So now we should be dropping into the character creator. And here we go. Let's start with our name. What? Does it want me to use my keyboard? 1 second, guys. Ah, okay. It does. But I'm not gonna? Okay, whatever. So let's caps lock it. Wait. That's not all of it. Okay, I don't care how I do this. Here we go. Lovely. Alright, Commander Starship is a male. And I think he's mature. Now we start picking our class here, and this is very important. First, let me say welcome. Welcome everyone who is watching this video. As I play through my favorite series of all time, starting with Dark Souls 3. And slowly working my way through all of the Souls games. Starting with Dark Souls 3 because conveniently I realized today that I can record it. As I have it on PS4, I have felt for a while that I can't record anything on PS4 because I don't have a capture card, but luckily I remembered I have the remote play feature. So I'm utilizing that. I have tested it, and it seems relatively lag-free. There is a slight delay, but I think I can get around it. And furthermore, I really want to record this and do a lore extensive run where we really examine things in detail. I've always wanted to do this. I actually started playing Souls with Demon Souls in 2009 when the game released. And I read about it in a magazine. Excuse me, I forget which one. It was like Game Pro or something, or maybe I saw it on a gaming website, like Games Radar or something at the time was pretty good. And yeah, I heard about it. I heard it was this crazy, dark fantasy RPG. You know, I saw screenshots of it, and I'm like, man, this is like for me. And I couldn't find it anywhere. GameStop didn't have it. At the time, there was EB Games, and even though they're basically the same thing, there were both stores where I lived, and neither one of them carried it. And I ended up actually buying it from a Blockbuster, strangely enough, that was going out of business, and they were selling all their PS3 games, and they had Demon Souls. They had like one copy of it. So yeah, I bought it, and I played it, and I freaking loved it. And I worked 5 years basically off and on playing that game, losing save files to a broken PlayStation, starting over from scratch. And eventually I platinumed it, and it's probably like the rarest platinum trophy that I have. In fact, I've platinumed Dark Souls 1 and got like 90% of the way to Dark Souls 2. I just never finished it. And I also platinumed Bloodborne. These are the only games I've ever cared about doing that with, because when I'm finished just getting everything, I still want to do more. There's like, you know, it's nice to have a purpose. Like, I don't care about platinum trophies, achievements, whatever. I've never really sought them out. But in these games, for me, like I said, it just gives me more to do. So anyway, let's pick our class. I like the mercenary class. You start with a good dex bonus, and I'm thinking I might do dexterity as my chief statistic on this character. I've never done that on Dark Souls 3. I have done it in the first Dark Souls, and it was a very powerful build in that game. So thinking about the mercenary, I like to use magic too. I like to do what they call a quality build, just kind of like a well-rounded build, and I do that so that I have the option of basically doing anything, using most spells, damn near any weapon. And what that ends up looking like usually for me is like 25 in strength and dexterity each, and then I usually do the full 50 in intelligence and around 30 in faith, and enough attunement to carry about 4 spell slots. I forget what that is. And then after I get to that, everything else is split between HP and stamina. So in the end, you end up with a pretty decent build. The only thing you can't really do is wear heavy armor, but I like the lighter build anyway. So let's continue looking here. So this one has high strength. I'll read the little descriptors. Descendant of northern warriors famed for their brawn, utilizes high strength to wield a heavy battle axe. Not really for me. I don't think I want to do a strength build this time. A mercenary and veteran of the battlefield. High dexterity allows masterful wielding of dual scimitars. Now, one thing that they did not carry over from Dark Souls 2, and I'll just say for the record that I was not a huge fan of Dark Souls 2. I think it's still better than 90% of the games that I played the year that it came out, but compare it to the original Dark Souls, and I don't think it holds up. It just doesn't have the same spirit, I guess you would say. I don't really know what else you would call it, but it's a different feel to me. I forgot where I was going with that, but anyway, I played all the games, and oh, that's what it was, Dark Souls 2. So yeah, the Dark Souls 2 had this cool feature that if your dexterity was high enough, you could do this thing called power stancing, where it unlocked a unique moveset for dual wielding weapons, and it was usually really cool, but they did not carry that over. An obscure knight of poor renown who collapsed roaming the land. Sturdy, owing to high vitality and stout armor. See, I'm favoring the knight, honestly. You start with good armor. I like the straight sword weapon class. And then you've got decent strength, decent dex. You kind of have the options of making them into whatever you want them to be. But let's just look at the others. A common thief and pitiful deserter. Wields a dagger intended for backstabs alongside a military issue bow. So decent dex, low strength, low vitality, and good luck. So luck is actually kind of important in this game for certain builds, especially what they call a hollow build, where your weapons scale off of luck. Not to get ahead of ourselves, but there is an NPC that we meet relatively early on who, if we decide to attack and kill them, drops a sword that scales off of luck. And that build is actually a really powerful build that you can kind of make early on, but I don't think we're going to go that route. An assassin. An assassin who stalks their prey from the shadows, favors sorceries in addition to thrusting swords. Hush, the spell that these guys start with, is super useful in this game. It is, they combined basically long fall, which allowed you to jump from high places safely, and hush, which just like quiets your footsteps, and made that one spell. And if you use that, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. If you use that in combination with the spell Hidden Body, you can just run past everything in this game. Just literally run past it. I am considering the assassin, just because of their starting stats, decent dex, good intelligence. The only thing they don't have is good armor, but honestly, I again like the ability to roll quickly, and I think the knight might be a little over encumbered. Oh no, please don't lose the connection. Again, this is happening through Wi-Fi, so I'm praying that we hold true here. Let's go through the rest quickly. So we got the sorcerer, a loner who left formal academia to pursue further research, commands soul sorceries using high intelligence. A pyromancer from a remote region who manipulates flame, also an adept close combat warrior who wields a hand axe. These guys were one of the best builds to start with in Dark Souls 1 if you wanted a well-rounded, powerful starting class. Cleric, a traveling cleric who collapsed from exhaustion. Channels high faith to cast many and varied miracles, plus he has a turtle shell for some reason. And deprived, naked and of unknown origin, either an unfathomable fool in life or was stripped of possessions upon burial. So really for me right now it's between assassin and knight. And I've never done assassin as a starting class. I have done knight before. So really, what do we want to do here? So let's compare. He starts at level 9. The assassin starts at level 10. 10 vigor. The knight has 12. Vitality is going to be the big difference, I'm sure. Yep, 10 versus 15. He has 14 dex. You know what? Just to give us the best chance, I'm going to be a knight. Now we pick our burial gift. In tradition of this game, you usually want to take something that is not a consumable. I think the best thing you can take early is probably the Young White Branch or the Life Ring. But since we have good life, I'm going to go with the Young White Branch, and that will make sense later on. So for our face, let's go with the Dragon Academy student, who has just a standard build. They took a lot of this from Bloodborne, man, and your guy's like real skinny and slim, but it is what it is. And then appearance, do we really want to get into this? We'll play with it just a little bit here. Let's see, face detail. Let's just do one of the presets. Sure. And then I thought you could like randomize. I don't want to get into all this. Let's give him a beard though. Gotta have a beard. There we go. Let's give him a better beard. How's that? There we go. Looks like somebody who's been wandering for a while. And for the hair, do we want to stick with what he's got? Some of these hairstyles are just ridiculous. I'm gonna go full on Jesus look here. Sure, let's do it. And then we don't need any tattoos or anything like that. I think that's individual enough. I'm good with it. I want to get started. Let's go. So we will be examining every item description, really trying to get a feel for the lore of this game. That's going to be the purpose of this playthrough. We're going to play slowly and enjoy it. Cemetery of Ash. The bell rang and we awoke. Buffering a little bit here. Let me let it catch up. And while it is, I can just talk about what we're looking at here. So, it's interesting. The creator of this game, Hidetaka Miyazaki, who is a personal hero of mine. I love his work. I'm very impressed by it. And we will be talking about some of the philosophies behind his work as we play through the game, but he was quoted in an interview as saying that the Unkindled, which is what you play as here, is basically a person, a human, who attempted to link the flame, which is kind of like this symbolic ritual that you can do that will prolong the age of fire, basically. But you failed. And you died. And now the bell's rung, and it's brought you back. Whoop. I actually didn't even see that guy initially. Backstabs are the same as Dark Souls 1, which is a great thing. And we'll just look around this place a little bit. So we just picked up the Ashen Estus Flask. I think we're safe to take a look. Undead treasure these dull ashen flasks, fill with Estus at bonfires, and drink to restore FP, which is focus points. Quite befitting of an Unkindled, an Ashen Estus Flask turns a bonfire's heat cold. I guess we're not safe here. Where's that guy at? Ah, there he is. That's one of the things about Dark Souls is you never can actually pause the game. So you want to make sure you're in a safe spot if you want to stop and read item descriptions. So let's clear this place out and then we'll delve back into our stuff. I think there's a couple more guys up here. Well, not that way. There he is. Come on then. Ooh, I went for a parry, but it didn't really work. Got a fading soul off of that fella. And I'm not reading the messages. We are playing offline as well. I actually don't like the messages. I love the system and I love the idea. And there are times when I want to play online and cooperate and whatever that they are awesome to have. But I do think that they really mar the environment when there's like a million of these orange marks all over the ground. It's just like clutter. I don't like looking at it. These environments are so like pretty. Like to see them that way, you know, preserve how they're supposed to look. All right, so that should be everybody. Let's look at our stuff again. So like it said, quite befitting of an Unkindled, an Ashen Estus Flask turns a bonfire's heat cold. So again, you're like a thing without flame. You lost, you screwed up. The undead treasure these dull green flasks, fill with Estus at bonfires, and drink to restore HP. The journey of an undead has always traced the bonfires, and no journey of import has been made without an Estus Flask. That's your main healing item. You refill it every time you rest at a bonfire. I'm sure most of you watching this are aware of that. Young White Branch, but if you aren't, that's okay. That's why I'm going over it. So Young White Branch. Branch of a white birch received from somebody. Appropriately vague. Apparently, this was once a token of friendship. Used to become something that blends into the surroundings. Excuse me, though the branch will unfortunately be consumed. Perhaps treasuring the memory is more important. Yeah, you don't want to use this. And actually, I want to unequip this. I'm about to do that in just 1 second. Because, well, you'll find out. I don't want to spoil anything. The dark sign is the sign of an accursed undead. The dark sign returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, or the bonfire at Firelink Shrine, but at the cost of all souls held. Carriers of the dark sign are reborn after death, and eventually lose their minds, turning hollow, and so it is that they are driven from their homelands. I also picked up this fading soul. It's just the fading soul of the corpse. It gives you souls, which is your main currency in this game for both leveling up and purchasing items. And you got your black separation crystal, a charm of farewell granted to banished undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes, or you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item if you intend to nurture relations. So this just breaks online if you summon someone. Unfortunately, it won't get rid of people who invade your game, but we're playing offline, so we're not even going to worry about that. And then Way of White Circlet, this is tied to the covenant that we start with. Those who engage in unjust deeds when in contact with other worlds will lose their connection to them. Way of White Circlets assume such sin as their own, but are found few and far between. Acting without honor will never be without risk. So it's just telling you, if you invade people, prepare to be invaded. Alright. Now, this connection is a little bit laggy, but I am going to attempt to kill these enemies up here that you'll soon see. I think there's just one. Yeah, in the demo. What am I talking about? In the early game. This is regular New Game. In New Game Plus, a few things are different. So that took a lot of my stamina. Ooh, we're close to death. It's coming. Alright. Plunging attack. Get out of his way. And you see, Laura, oh, we staggered him. Get in there. We need to get in there. We're lucky we survived that. Alright. Back in this. Kinda got him hemmed in here where it's a little bit easier to dodge. As you can see. Block that one. Okay, camera's going squarely. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and fill up. Or he breathes on me. Okay, there we go. Almost got it. Ah, careful. Don't get greedy. Alright, this should finish him off. Which got us an early Titanite scale. Very rare upgrade material in the game, and very useful to have this early. Well, I say that. There's not a lot of items you're going to get super early that will make use of it, but it's still good to have. And we also got a nice little soul drop there, which will help us gain a few early levels. Most Souls tutorials are like this. They'll give you like something that you probably shouldn't be able to do if you're really just starting out playing the game, and either it'll be a rewarding experience for a player who is experienced with the game and can tackle it, or it will be a very valuable learning experience for someone who's trying to learn how to play this game, as they find out that most enemies can kill you relatively easily. Where are we going? It's not this way. I'm all turned around. Connection's a little spotty, unfortunately. Ooh, I almost lost it there. Let me just take a second here and see if it picks back up. I need to hardline my PS4 so that it at least has the most stable connection possible. But yeah, I think we're alright. So let's continue on here. Getting close to our, you know what, I wish we had a bonfire. We're getting close to our first boss fight. And we see this lovely vista here. And you realize that you're in a pretty remote area in the far, far north. So basically, oh yeah, there is a bonfire. I forgot about this. So let's go ahead and light it. And then we'll rest. This gives us an emote, and it will refill all of our stuff. Now, I haven't really explained what Ashen Estus is for, and I want to take that off my bar. So let me get rid of this real quick. And then we'll get rid of this, and oops, I don't mean to put this on there. There we go. Alright, so Ashen Estus is for should you decide to use a new feature in Dark Souls 3, which are weapon arts. So if I two-hand my weapon here, and I hold L2, I will shift into this different stance. And any attack that I do from this stance will now cost FP, but it will do either, it'll break guards like that does, or it'll just do a lot of damage like that does. So it's a neat feature. It's called a weapon art. Most weapons have their own unique art, or at least most classes of weapons do. All classes of weapons do. Some weapons have unique weapon arts. That's part of what makes them special in these games. It's cool. It adds a little bit more diversity to builds, and that's a good thing. Shields also are classed differently in this game. You have your medium shields that have either the ability to parry, like this one does, or they have their own weapon art, which is usually, they don't have their own weapon art. They have the ability to allow you to do a weapon art while holding your weapon one-handed. They bypass the need to use a two-handed stance. Shoot. I don't really have to kill these guys. I don't know why I am. There's really not too much here that we want. We're gonna run and jump here. Oh, and I missed it. Darn. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back up there. Shoot. How do you get back up there? It's over here, I think. We're gonna take this guy out real quick. Attacks that drop down from above are real powerful in this game. Boss is just through there, but I do want to get this item. I think it's a soul. It's on the other side of the rock is what I want to jump, which is right here. And I missed again. Are you kidding me? Sorry, guys. At least we are fast rolling, so that's a good thing. There's some guys further down there. I don't care. They don't have anything I want. What? Why? This is crazy. I've never missed this many times. This isn't even that important of an item, but it's kind of about the principle of it now. Let me line up my jump a little bit better. I thought you just ran right to the edge of this rock and then jumped, but no. Okay, I see. So we'll go here. And there we go. Pick that up. It's just a Titanite shard. It definitely was not worth all that, but that's okay. It's part of playing this game. Titanite shards, as you'll soon see, are used for upgrades. We're not going to get into that just yet, but we will take a look at that in a few, when it becomes relevant. Alright, so here we are, in our first boss arena. Walk forward a little bit here, and take a look at this guy. See, he's got a very large spear. And there is a sword stuck inside of him. And something squirmy on his back. So if you walk up to him, you have the option to remove the coiled sword. And we shall do so now. And this releases him. So as soon as he starts moving, you can start attacking. And I recommend you do it. You get some free hits in on it. Now you can parry everything he does, although I'm making a poor showing of it. He's not difficult the first time you fight him. Ooh, he broke my guard. Okay, good, he didn't follow up. I thought I rolled through that. It's alright then. Missed his grab. Okay, so now it's when he's a little bit crazier. So we're gonna get off of him while we have stamina. And I rolled right into that. That was foolish. It's not smart to let him pound on you. Alright, pay attention then. That was close. It's our last potion. trouble with this guy here. Okay. I think he hit me. He did. Okay. Well, that sucks. I normally don't die to him, but I am kind of distracted right now. It's all good. This is Dark Souls, baby. You're gonna die. So let's go back and fight him again. We almost had him. I mean, he had very little life left. If I could have dodged for a couple more seconds, it would have been over, but I couldn't. I didn't. And, yeah. So we'll just head on out. I wanted to try to parry that guy. I don't know that with this slight delay that I have on my recording here that parries are going to be possible. It's already kind of hard enough with a mid-shield that, yeah, I'm not sure I even want to try. So, while I would normally endeavor to parry Udex in here, I think I'm just going to go for rolling and blocking and not worry about parrying. I don't really need the swag bonus. So, just play smart. 2 hits, and then you move. Ooh, I rolled right onto his stupid spear. He's got long reach, too. Don't disregard his reach. Pop him. Nope. Staggered him. Get in there. Get in there. And he's dead. Alright. That's how it normally looks when I fight him. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of defense, honestly. It is very much so a tutorial boss. But it's all good. I'll accept 1 death. This isn't like a no-death challenge run. It's really about the lore. Okay, so we picked up a new item. And that is the coiled sword. Oh no, my game's acting a little squirrely. Okay. Sword missing from the shrine bonfire. Cannot be equipped as a weapon. Thrust into the shrine bonfire to restore its power and enable travel between bonfires. This sword is only bequeathed to Chosen Ash, as judged by the Udex, who awaits the arrival of Ash as a scabbard. Now this has been talked about a lot. Because there is a thing that happens later in the game that, again, I'm not going to spoil, just going to kind of set up, that will call all of this guy, Udex Gundir's actions into question, and we will wonder what role he actually plays in the story. At that point, hopefully I will remember to reference the coiled sword, because it does have bearing on his story. But it also has a mechanical aspect to it that's interesting, in that when this game was being developed, one of the things that they were promoting was the ability to create your own bonfires, which, is you've seen, are the checkpoints that you use. That feature did not end up making it into the game, the finalized version of the game, and I think the only relic of it is this right here, what we do to get Firelink Shrine up and running. So here we go. I'll show that off right now. Let's head on through. We will try to pick up every drop that we see. I'll try to get all of them. Broken straight sword. First of all, here's our long sword, a balanced, widely used standard straight sword. It's got the skill of stance, which I showed. And then you got the broken straight sword with a broken blade, a weapon with no exceptional qualities. Only a Mad Hollow would choose to fight with this. Interestingly, in Demon Souls, the very first Souls game, one of the best weapons in the game was a sword called the Blue Blood Sword, and you made it by combining a boss soul, like a boss drop, with a broken straight sword, upgraded. If you upgraded the broken straight sword enough, you could make the blue blood sword with it. It was really neat. I love when games do stuff like that. Let's explore thoroughly. I don't want to fall off, but check that guy out over there. He's just like taking it all in, man. We'll go say hello to him in a minute. Showcase one of the cool moves. Well, in a minute means right now, actually. So if we're really quiet, we can get like right here. Oh, I messed it up. I wanted to kick him off, but I messed it up. Oh well. You can do a kick, but it's like, see, that's it. I've done it a couple times. You probably see me do it. You can push enemies back a little bit, open them up, and then step in for a riposte. If you kick that guy in the butt, he falls off the edge. I think they put him there just for that reason. We got a couple of guys here. Backstab the first, which makes me invulnerable for the time that I am backstabbing. You'll also note that I all of a sudden have more life. There is a reason for that. After I beat Udex, I gained a state known as Kindled. Or Embered, rather, I think is what it's called. Kindled is something else. Basically, it gives you more life, and your physical attacks are a little bit stronger. Interestingly enough, it's very similar to Demon Souls and the mechanics that they had in that game, where you could go from being in your body state to your soul state. So here's Firelink Shrine in this game. Kind of looks a little... there's an item up there. Kind of looks a little bit more like the Nexus from Demon Souls than Firelink Shrine from the original Dark Souls, but what can you do? Here's the Firekeeper.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I am a firekeeper. I tend to the flame and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
So this is how we level up.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me. Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Now the way leveling up works in the Souls games is, oh no, don't lose the connection. I was really hoping this wouldn't happen while we were recording. Okay, there it goes, it's stabilized. It's just like a lot of RPGs. The lower level you are, the less souls it takes to level up. The higher level you are, the more souls it takes to level up. So you want to lower... I usually want to level, first off, stats that I know that I'm not going to use too much, but I just kind of want to get them to a base level. And then from there, we'll go here. Excuse me. We'll go here. We'll go here. I like this. And then maybe we'll go there. Let's do that. That looks good. That's a good start. All right.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
All right, and here we go, embedding the coiled sword that we found. We have a bonfire to rest at, so let's go ahead and set it as our checkpoint. And you see, this one has a lot more options, and we'll go into what all that stuff means as it becomes applicable. Go up here and talk to this fella that I saw stand, kind of hanging out in his chair. The only chair that's occupied, by the way.
All that unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludleth of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred corpse. This sad cadaver, No need to be coy. Have a closer look.
So as you can see, he has no legs. If we continue talking to him, I think we'll learn a little bit more about who he is.
Knowest thou of our purpose? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire.
5 thrones.
The fast-fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire.
The thing you failed to do.
So it is. I became a lord of Cinder.
But he did.
I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Now, do not be away over long.
Ludleth of Corlin also has another purpose, as we will see as we continue. But for now, I think this is where we'll stop for today. If you enjoyed this episode, please remember to leave a like. It definitely does help a lot. And if you want more, then subscribe. And until next time, guys, we will fully explore Firelink Shrine and then likely head out into our first real level. So look forward to that. I know I am. And take it easy.